Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Current Affairs MCQ. Let us begin with the previous day's question. Aditya U and SST-1 recently seen in news are associated with which of the following? A. Satellite navigation systems. B. Nuclear fusion research. C. Deep sea mining technology. D. Hypersonic missile development. The correct answer is B. Aditya U and SST-1 are associated with nuclear fusion research. They are both tokamaks, which are experimental devices used to contain superheated plasma with powerful magnetic fields in an effort to harness nuclear fusion as a source of clean energy. The Institute of Plasma Research in India operates both of these devices as part of its program to study plasma physics and advanced fusion technology. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question 1. Consider the following statements regarding laws related to the Central Board of Film Certification in India. 1. The Central Board of Film Certification derives its powers from the Cinematograph Act 1952. 2. Appeals against the orders of the CBFC can be made only before the Supreme Court of India. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. Both 1 and 2. D. None. The correct answer is A. The Central Board of Film Certification is a statutory body under the Cinematograph Act 1952, functioning under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. It certifies films for public exhibition in India, classifying them as U, UA, A or S. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Earlier, appeals against the CBFC's orders could be filed before the Film Certification Appellate Tribunal. However, FCAT was abolished in 2021 and appeals now lie with the respective high courts, not directly with the Supreme Court. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 2. With reference to the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, consider the following institutions. 1. Chief Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities. 2. State Commissioners for Persons with Disabilities. 3. District level committees for disability affairs. Which of the above are provided for under the Act? A. 1 only. B. 1 and 2 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is D. Chief Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities. The RPWD Act 2016 provides for the establishment of a Chief Commissioner for PWDs at the national level. This is a statutory authority empowered to monitor implementation of the Act, safeguard the rights of persons with disabilities, inquire into complaints, and advise the central government on policy. Hence, statement 1 is correct. State Commissioners for Persons with Disabilities. Each state government is mandated under the Act to appoint a State Commissioner for PWDs to look after the implementation of disability-related provisions at the state level. The State Commissioner also performs quasi-judicial functions by hearing complaints and ensuring compliance with the Act. Hence, statement 2 is correct. District-level committees for disability affairs. The Act also directs the constitution for district-level committees chaired by the district collector to coordinate the implementation of disability schemes at the grassroots level and review progress in their respective districts. These are statutory provisions to decentralized monitoring and enforcement. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option D is the correct answer. Question 3. With reference to India's shipbuilding sector, consider the following statements. 1. The Shipbuilding Financial Assistance Scheme provides subsidies linked to the gross tonnage of vessels built. 2. The scheme applies equally to private and public sector shipyards in India. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is C. The Shipbuilding Financial Assistance Scheme links subsidies to gross tonnage and types of vessels. Larger ships require more capital, so linking assistance to tonnage helps reduce investment costs and incentivizes construction of bigger merchant vessels, which aligns with the goal of increasing India's shipbuilding capacity. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The scheme is applicable to both public and private shipyards as the policy aims to scale shipbuilding capacity and develop a competitive maritime ecosystem. Limiting it to public sector yards would slow capacity expansion and reduce efficiency. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Question 4. With reference to India's efforts towards developing 5th generation fighter aircraft, consider the following statements. 1. The Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft is India's indigenous 5th generation fighter program being developed by DRDO and HAL. 2. Stealth, supercruise capability, advanced avionics, and sensor fusion are some of the defining features of 5th generation fighters. 3. India currently has 2 operational 5th generation fighter aircrafts in service with the Indian Air Force. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The correct answer is B. The AMCA program is led by DRDO's Aeronautical Development Agency with HAL as production partner and aims to develop India's indigenous 5th generation fighter. Hence, statement 1 is correct. 5th generation fighters worldwide are characterized by stealth technology, supercruise, advanced avionics, and network-centric warfare features. Hence, statement 2 is correct. India does not yet have an operational 5th generation aircraft. AMCA is still in the design or development stage with the first prototype expected later this decade. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question 5. Consider the following statements. 1. Rodents, particularly rats, can transmit zoonotic diseases to humans. 2. Urban pigeon populations are primarily a public health concern due to vector-borne diseases like malaria. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is A. Rats and other rodents are reservoirs for zoonotic diseases such as plague, leptospirosis, and hantavirus. They contaminate food, water, and surfaces, causing disease outbreaks. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Pigeons primarily spread fungal infections and bacterial diseases, but not vector-borne diseases like malaria, which are mosquito transmitted. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 6. With reference to the rupee-dollar exchange rate, consider the following statements. 1. Depreciation of the rupee generally makes Indian exports cheaper and imports costlier. 2. Higher US interest rates can lead to rupee depreciation by attracting capital outflows. 3. A persistent current account surplus weakens the rupee against the US dollar. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. Only 1 and 2. B. Only 2 and 3. C. Only 1 and 3. D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is A. Rupee depreciation reduces export prices and increases import costs, improving export competitiveness. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Higher US interest rates attract capital outflows from India, increasing demand for dollars and causing rupee depreciation. Hence, statement 2 is correct. A current account surplus increases demand for rupees, generally strengthening the currency rather than weakening it. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 7. Consider the following statements. 1. Article 22 of the Indian Constitution explicitly permits preventive detention. 2. Detention under National Security Act 1980 is punitive. 3. A detention order under the NSA functions like a warrant of arrest and can be executed across designated places and states. How many of the statements given above is or are not correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The correct answer is A. Preventive detention means holding a person not for a crime already committed, but to prevent possible future actions that may threaten public order, security, or essential supplies. Article 22 of the Indian Constitution explicitly permits preventive detention, under which a person can be detained for up to 3 months without approval from an advisory board. For detention beyond 3 months, approval from an advisory board is required. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Detention under the National Security Act 1980 is preventive, not punitive. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. A detention order under the NSA functions like a warrant of arrest. Once detained, a person can be held in designated places, moved across states, and subjected to conditions set by the government. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 8. Consider the following statements about the Wassenaar Arrangement. Statement 1. It is the first multilateral body focused on export controls for conventional arms and dual-use technologies. Statement 2. India has not joined this arrangement. Statement 3. The arrangement focuses on physical exports but excludes intrusion software. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? A. Both statement 2 and statement 3 are correct and both of them explain statement 1. B. Both statement 2 and statement 3 are correct, but only one of them explains statement 1. C. Only one of the statements 2 and 3 is correct, and that explains statement 1. D. Neither statement 2 nor statement 3 is correct. The correct answer is D. The Wassenaar Arrangement is the first multilateral body focused on export controls for conventional arms and dual-use technologies. Hence, statement 1 is correct. It is the main decision-making body. The chair rotates yearly. India chaired the plenary of the Wassenaar Arrangement in 2023. Secretariat, based in Vienna, Austria, supports all arrangement functions. Members, 42 countries. India joined in 2017. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Participating states agree on control lists and share information, while each government retains full discretion over licensing, implementation, and enforcement of the rules. Originally, the arrangement focused on physical exports. In 2013, the arrangement expanded to include intrusion software, that is, software that bypasses network security or enables cyber surveillance. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. Hence, option D is the correct answer. Question 9. Consider the following statements about the Payments Regulatory Board of India. 1. The PRB is chaired by the RBI Governor and includes 3 central government nominees. 2. The PRB derives its powers from the Payment and Settlement Systems Act 2007. 3. The PRB replaces the Board for Regulation and Supervision of Payments and Settlement System (BPSS). 4. Decisions in the PRB are taken by unanimous consensus of all members present. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1, 2 and 3 only. B. 1 and 4 only. C. 2, 3 and 4 only. D. All of the above. The correct answer is A. The Reserve Bank of India has established a 6-member Payment Regulatory Board to enhance oversight and governance of the country's payment systems. It is chaired by the RBI Governor and comprises 2 additional RBI representatives along with 3 central government nominees. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The PRB derives powers from the Payment and Settlement Systems Act 2007. Hence, statement 2 is correct. PRB replaces the Board for Regulation and Supervision of Payment and Settlement Systems, a committee of the RBI Central Board. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Decisions are taken by a majority vote of members present. In case of a tie, the chairperson or deputy governor has a second or casting vote. Hence, statement 4 is not correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 10. It is a biotechnological method that converts barren desert sand into a soil-like material capable of sustaining agricultural activities. It utilizes bioformulations and polymers to bind loose sand particles, enhance soil structure, and significantly improve water retention. For the first time, wheat has been successfully grown in the arid desert land of western Rajasthan using this technology. Which of the following technologies best fits this description? A. Biocoating technology. B. Desert soilification technology. Precision irrigation systems. None of the above. The correct answer is B. Desert soilification technology is a biotechnological method that converts barren desert sand into a soil-like material capable of sustaining agricultural activities. It utilizes bioformulations and polymers to bind loose sand particles, enhance soil structure, and significantly improve water retention. For the first time, wheat has been successfully grown in the arid desert lands of western Rajasthan using an innovative desert soilification technology. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Now, it's time to look at a practice question. With reference to women in agriculture in India, consider the following statements. 1. Women constitute a majority of the agricultural labor force in India. 2. The share of women in land ownership is significantly lower than their participation in agricultural work. 3. As per the census 2011, more than 50% of all rural women workers are engaged in agriculture and allied activities. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Please provide your answers in the comment section.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.